for the Swans through that first quarter. Pretty scrappy affair though it was. How did you see it turning sort of after the main break?
Yeah, they're just a really, really good side. We just wish that our improvement could be linear and it would just continue to go that way. You know, we've been pretty good as a side since the bye, the last 5 games, and then today we lowered our colours to a really, really good side. Particularly around the ball, they broke tackles because of their strength. They were cleaner with the footy, and they scored 12 goals from stoppages, which is, you're not going to be able to stem the tide for your defence when the ball's coming from stoppage that cleanly. So, to their credit, they got really, really strong and deep midfield, and they used the ball terrifically well compared to us. They applied pressure to us that forced us to cough the footy up, and we couldn't do the same to apply the pressure to them, and that's full credit to them. That's why they're sitting where they are on the ladder, and they'll be pretty tough to beat.
And your emerging midfield's shown really positive signs in recent weeks. Did you just feel like this was a test and a bit of a point of where they sit at the moment against the competition benchmark? Really?
Yeah. Well, it's all experience for these young players that we've got Sheasel and Wardlaw and Powell and these guys that are just building their resume in terms of exposure to senior AFL footy. Sherry the ruck playing against Grundy. Grundy's played 200 games. Sherry's played 50. So just that exposure that they get to these type of contests, and as I said, you just wish improvement and growth as a footy club is all linear, but you have your ups and downs, and we've been pretty good for the last month and a bit, but well and truly lowered our colours today, which is disappointing, but it's just all learning curve. What the growth and benefit that we get out of the game is we played the benchmark side in the competition. They're sitting 2 or 3 games clear of every other team in the competition for a reason, and we saw that firsthand today. And if all we get out of today's game is just understand the gap that exists between the side that's on top of the ladder and where we are, then we know we've got to roll the sleeves up and get to work, and that's where we want to be. But it's going to take a lot of work to get there, but we're up for the fight.
You look at the clearances numbers, you're pretty even. That must be a takeaway from today.
Yeah, just the quality of them being able to get out and shoulders out and free to be able to execute a really good setup with their play from the clearances, and we just couldn't get we had the same sort of opportunities. I think we're even in front of Sydney in terms of first possession from stoppage, but that's the pressure that they were able to apply. We weren't clean enough with the footy when we had our chances, and we couldn't force them to be dirty with the ball when they had their chances, and they were able to convert many of their stoppages into scoring chances for them. I think they had something like 17 or 20 shots at goal from stoppage, which is something that's going to be very, very difficult for any defence in the competition to try to defend.
You mentioned the progression over the past month at a bit in particular. What's the key to making sure a result like this that they can kind of move on very quickly?
Well, just get back to the club, roll the sleeves up, and get back to work again. And as I said, focus on the things that we've been doing pretty well over the last 5 weeks. But we've got a significant challenge again next week. We've got Carlton, who are second on the ladder, and they're sitting in that position because they're a pretty polished side themselves. So we get another crack at it against a really, really good side, just to see whether we can measure up a little bit better than what we did in the game today.
You were able to get away with the Suns winning the territory battle last week, but it was 64-39 inside 50s today. Is that sort of the next area of improvement that you want to see from the side, to be able to take territory and give your forwards more opportunities?
Yeah, it was, as I said, we had chances at stoppage today, and they were able to convert their opportunities around stoppage to get inside 50, and we're unable to do that. So that having some sort of parity around the inside 50 differential is something that is still an area of our game that we need to try to get better at, and but that will come with a bit more composure, a bit more experience, a bit more exposure of those young lads to the pressure that's applied by really, really good sides. Sydney have come off two losses that they would have been disappointed with their performances over the last couple of weeks, where their pressure wasn't at the level that Sydney usually apply, and that's perhaps why they lost those 2 games. But we couldn't say their pressure wasn't there today. It was first class. I'm sure when Horse comes in, he'll be lauding the fact that they were really, really strong in that area, and that's what forced us to lower our colours today.
And how do you find the balance with your ball movement? Because you're not getting the ball forward enough, not getting enough opportunities to your forwards. But in the first quarter, you're able to sort of match it, at least stay with the Swans with some, I guess, controlled possession.
We just need to do it for longer in games. You know, we've been really good over the last 5 weeks to give ourselves a chance. In the first quarter, Sydney, I thought, was still the better side in the first quarter, but somehow we were able to stay in the contest in terms of the scoreboard. But when the whips really started cracking in the second quarter, they were just far superior to us. And as I said earlier on, that's why they sit where they are on the ladder, and that's what we've got to do to try to chase down that benchmark.
You talk about having improved since the bye. What do you think stands out the most to you in terms of aspects, especially after today?
What was that question again? Sorry.
You talk about improving since the bye. What do you think has stood out to you the most when the boys come out?
Oh, where we've been really, really strong is in our contest work and our tackling and the pressure that we've been able to apply to the opposition. And unfortunately for us, we came up against a side that's probably the best in the competition at that. And it's very unusual that you sit on top of the ladder if you're not really, really strong in that space. And that's a part of our game that we've been particularly strong, and we lowered our colours in that area today. And that's what we'll be hoping to try and improve when we confront Carlton next week.
And what was the thinking with Will Phillips' omission? Had a couple of good weeks, been able to do some good jobs on opposition midfielders. Obviously the Swans have got an informed on-ball division at the moment, but he wasn't able to get a game.
Yeah. Well, George Wardlow's returning to the side. Will was okay last week without being brilliant. What the tag does is actually disrupt your side, and particularly against a side like Sydney, who rotate a lot of their midfielders into different positions, and you find in some instances it just disrupts your side. So we went with that strategy this week. You'd say that a lot of things didn't go right with our game. Was that pivotal to us winning or losing? I don't think so. But he played well in the twos. The twos had a good win, which is really pleasing for us. You know, they had another close game against Sydney. The one earlier in the year they lost with a kick right on the siren, and this game they won with a kick right on the siren. So it's good that our young fellas in the reserves are playing some good footy, and hopefully a couple of them get an opportunity next week.
And Griffin Logue's been back for a few weeks now. Is he pressing forward for a return?
Yeah. He's played 3 games back now, together with a bye that the VFL team had last week. So I saw the first half, and he was played well in the first half. I haven't seen the second half, but he's in terms of his match fitness and that sort of stuff, he's not too far being ready to go.